Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome to our Planning and Works Committee Statutory Public Meeting, Regional Official Plan Amendment meeting on September 12th, 2023. Would like to start with our territorial acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge that the land in which we gather is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Neutral people. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today, their achievements, and their continued contributions to the community. I would like to get Will to call the roll call.
Thank you, Chair James. Chair Redmond?
Present.
Councillor G. Craig?
Present.
Councillor Deutschmann? Councillor Erb?
Present.
Councillor Foxton?
Present.
Councillor Harris?
Present.
Councillor Huning?
Present.
Councillor James? Present. Councillor Liggett? Councillor McCabe?
Present.
Councillor Solonen? Present. Councillor Shantz? Councillor Shantz?
Present.
Councillor Verbanovic? Councillor Williams? And Councillor Wolf?
Present.
And we have regrets from Councillor Nowak. He'll be here later. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Okay, seeing none. So the purpose of today's meeting is to receive comments from the community on a proposed amendment to the regional official plan for 63 Benjamin Street in New Dundee within the Township of Wilmot. Today's public meeting is required under Section 1715 of the Planning Act. The notice of this public meeting was advertised in the Record on August 22nd, 2023, and the New Hamburg Independent on August 23rd, 2023. The proposed amendment was also posted on the Region of Waterloo's website and social media. Delegations will be heard today, but no decisions will be made. Anyone in attendance today will be given an opportunity to speak. Regional staff will summarize any comments heard today as part of a future report to Regional Council. The report will also provide staff's recommendations regarding the proposed amendment. If you wish to be notified of further meetings on this amendment, please add your contact information to the sign-in sheet provided at the AV booth for those who are in person. If you are watching virtually, please email regionalclerk@regionofwaterloo.ca. Written comments may also be submitted to the regional clerk. Presentations. We do have a staff presentation. Amanda Cutler, Manager of Community Planning, and will provide a brief overview of the proposed amendment. Staff are available for questions following the presentation.
Thank you, and good morning, Chair James and members of committee. The purpose of today's presentation is to provide information on a proposed site-specific regional official plan amendment initiated by the owner of the subject lands located at 63 Benjamin Street within the rural settlement area of New Dundee in the Township of Wilmot. Next slide, please. The lands subject to the amendment are approximately 0.73 hectares or 1.8 acres and are bounded by Queen Street, Benjamin Street, Bridge Street, and Front Street, and are located within the rural settlement area of New Dundee within the Township of Wilmot. The municipal address is 63 Benjamin Street. Next slide, please. The purpose of the amendment is to establish a site-specific policy for 63 Benjamin Street. The site-specific policy would permit the use of alternative individual wastewater treatment systems, sometimes known as advanced systems or tertiary systems, on the lands municipally addressed as 63 Benjamin Street within the Township of Wilmot. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, that's the correct slide. Thank you. So the ROP currently contains a policy 5B8, which states that development applications proposing alternative individual wastewater treatment systems will only be permitted where the proposed lot size would accommodate a conventional individual wastewater treatment system. This property currently contains 6 existing lots of record that, due to their small lot size and nature of soils, are not feasible to include a traditional septic system. So a tertiary treatment system is proposed so that it can function on these smaller lot sizes. A hydrogeological study was submitted in support of the application that concluded that there would be no adverse impacts to groundwater. This report was reviewed by region staff and who accepted the findings of the study. So in summary, we do have a specific policy that requires larger lot sizes for these types of systems, and this application is specifically requesting an exception to that policy. Next slide, please. Oh, that's correct. So we've got a draft amendment proposed, and that would provide a notwithstanding clause for this specific property. So notwithstanding 5B8, this property would be permitted to contain alternative treatment systems, if approved by Regional Council. Next slide, please. So the next steps are to review any comments that are received from the public today and as part of the circulation process. Staff will then prepare a recommendation report to be brought forward to a future council meeting for council's consideration. That concludes today's presentation. So thank you for your attention.
Okay, are there any questions regarding the presentation at this point? No? Okay. All right, so we will move on to delegations. I would like to remind all delegations of some guidelines for participation. For those who are joining us in person, please proceed to the podium when you are called upon to speak. Please press the button on the base of the microphone to turn it on. If the light is green, the microphone is on. For those who are joining us virtually, please leave your video camera turned off and your microphone audio muted until you are called upon to speak. You will have 5 minutes. Anyone who registered after the deadline will receive 3 minutes. If you conduct yourself in any of the following manners, it will result in an immediate removal from the meeting: interrupting councilors, staff, or delegations, derogatory statements about councilors, staff, or others, turning your camera on at inappropriate times, or any hate speech or defamatory comments. One last reminder, for delegations, if there are no comments, please note that council may be processing and reflecting on what you've said. As stated before, this is not a meeting where we will be making any decisions. First delegation is Don Poth. I believe you are here in person.
Good morning, I'm Don Poth, and I'm a lifetime resident of New Dundee. And I am here to totally support the regional plan amendment so that 83 Benjamin Street can be developed in the center of New Dundee. We need affordable housing in this area, and this is certainly not a green belt area. It is a fenced wheat field. When I was a youngster, the New Dundee Creamery was the largest business in New Dundee, employing over 100 people. We made New Dundee butter, cheese, and other products. In 1988, the creamery was closed, the building was not used, and deteriorated significantly. In 2000, the New Dundee Optimist Club formed a New Dundee Improvement Committee, and they surveyed our community on what could be done to make it better. I was the chair of that improvement committee. Based on that survey, numerous improvements have been made. The only question that has not been answered is what can be done about the creamery building and the surrounding property. In 2003, a group of concerned citizens visited Parmalat in Toronto, the owner of the property, expressing safety concerns about the building itself. It was deteriorating. In 2004, the building was torn down. A fence was erected around the former site for safety concerns. For 19 years, the property has been a fenced wheat field in the center of our community. For 19 years, it has stayed the same. A total embarrassment, and it still is. Over the years, township politicians, our members of parliament, and other residents have lobbied to have something done. In December of 2016, the property finally was purchased by local individuals, Ontario Limited 2551202. They deserve a lot of credit. In 2017 and 2018, the environmental concerns were addressed, the area was cleaned, and it now can be developed. Regional Road 12 on the corner of Queen Street and Bridge has always been a busy road with a lot of truck traffic. The recent 40-kilometer speed limit in front of the public school has been a great asset and has decreased some of the traffic. Smaller homes in the property are far more saleable than large million-dollar homes. We do not need million-dollar homes in our community. New Dundee is a wonderful community, and finally we have a solution. It is close to the 401, close to Kitchener, has a great school, a great community center, great parks. However, the housing is expensive. Many homes have sold for over $1 million, and there's very seldom you get a house for under $600,000. A home on Queen Street, just up from the corner, is now for sale for $1.9 million, a decrease from $2.2 million a few months ago. The smaller, cheaper houses are demolished and huge houses built. New, smaller septics are allowed if a house is demolished. 6 smaller walkout houses facing Benjamin Street with reasonable priced homes is an excellent and perhaps the only solution to our wheat field. If this is passed, new smaller homes will be built, and no doubt the houses on the north side of Benjamin Street will also be sold, rebuilt, or improved. The whole area will become a beautiful residential area rather than an embarrassment in its present condition. The community has been waiting 25 years for development in the center of our town. This amendment must be approved. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Not seeing any questions. Thank you, Don. Oh, sorry, Don. Okay, I didn't see the speakers list. Councillor Solonen.
I just wanted to say thank you very much for coming and sharing your support. I know that our local council's already approved it, and we're really looking forward to getting support here and developing, like you said, houses that people need in that part of Wilmot. So thank you so much for coming.
Very welcome.
Next, we have Angie Hallman. You have 5 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. Is my audio working?
Audio is working. We just can't see you.
Okay. Just can't see you. No, I've tried that, and it's not. Must be my rural internet connection. Sorry, everybody, out on the farm. Good morning, and I just wanted to thank all of you for your time this morning. I will admit most of my notes, as Mr. Poth has addressed many of the comments that I well. I do want to add that this property has been derelict for many years in the community. This opportunity would allow for people to age in place. One of the uniquenesses about New Dundee is we have people come and they stay forever. And so as their adult children leave, they're in large homes, and this would allow people to age in place. So these 6 lots are imperative to the success of generational living within the community, and also allowing people who have grown up in the community to purchase homes and stay. So I won't repeat most of what Don Poth had said. Thank you all, and I'm also thankful for Wilmot Township Council for approving this as well. Thanks for your time, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Solonen.
Angie, I just wanted to also echo what I said to Don. Thank you very much for coming today and for supporting this great future development in New Dundee. I completely agree. I think it'll be really great for that part of town.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Scott Patterson, who will be appearing virtually. Scott, you can go ahead. You have 5 minutes.
Good morning, committee. My name is Scott Patterson. I'm the planning consultant representing the property owner. I have a brief PowerPoint presentation, which I'm hoping clerks can load for me. Thank you for that. So yes, again, Scott Patterson from Patterson Planning Consultants here on behalf of 255-1202 Ontario Limited. Next slide, please. So as noted, 63 Benjamin Street is a 0.7 hectare parcel of land located in the core area of New Dundee. The property is bounded by Benjamin Street, Front Street, and Bridge Street. Next slide, please. Just for context for committee, this is a 2022 air photo. showing Benjamin Street, Front Street, and Bridge Street and the location of the subject property and just its current condition. Next slide, please. So as part of the works by the landowner, a survey was conducted of the property, and the red outline constitutes the entirety of the lands. Next slide. And as a result of that survey, it was confirmed that the property currently comprises 6 existing lots. So those are illustrated on screen just for your reference, with 5 lots facing towards Benjamin Street and 1 lot facing towards Front Street in the lower portion of the property. So the intent is to develop the 5 lots fronting Benjamin Street, the existing lots, with single detached homes. The ultimate fate of Lot 20, or the lot in the lower bottom portion of the site, is still to be determined, as it's subject to floodplain. So there are existing lots that form part of the overall 63 Benjamin Street address. Those can be separately conveyable today without any Planning Act approvals. Next slide, please. And again, just for committee's reference, this was the concept development plan that was put forward as part of the hydrogeological study completed by MTE consultants. Just shows the development of the 5 homes facing towards Benjamin Street and the location of the proposed septic system for each lot. Next slide. So this regional official plan amendment is the first step in the process, allowing these existing lots to be developed for residential land use. If this amendment is supported, we would then need to move forward with a zoning bylaw amendment to the township. That's required to change the zoning from industrial to an appropriate residential zone to allow those 5 lots to be developed. We would ask for committee support this morning of the official plan amendment, allowing these lands to advance to the next stage. Next slide. And if there's any questions for me this morning, I'd be happy to answer them for committee.
Okay, I'm seeing none. Thank you so much for your presentation, Scott. Next speaker is Dave DeBacker. You are here in person.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to hear from delegates on this. My name is Dave, and I'm not a lifelong resident like Don, but I'm a proud resident of New Dundee. I'm not a planner, but I think I understand the issue here, and those are very helpful. I'm here to support the development, and I'm going to be very brief and succinct because I really just have 3 things to share with you today. And first is some kind of firsthand horse's mouth perspective about why I'm in support of this. So you saw some pictures, some overhead satellite pictures of the lot, and you can kind of see it's overgrown and things like that. What you don't see is a lot of things that are related to the kind of insects and rodents and the other safety issues associated with that lot that the residents would be very familiar with. There's a lot of kind of unsavory elements of that lot. I'm a volunteer firefighter in town, and in those pictures you just saw, directly across on Front Street is the fire hall, and when we're out washing our trucks, we're staring at that lot, and when I'm there doing paperwork, as I was this morning, I'm staring at that really ugly eyesore in the middle of our town. And it's something I really drives everybody on the department nuts that sits there like that. For the same, that's been over a decade, and for that same amount of time, I've been walking my kids to school, as a lot of parents have, and we have to go right past that lot because, it's between our school and our homes, which is something we'd rather not see. Certainly detracts from the community overall. And before moving to New Dundee, my previous house was on an infill lot in Kitchener, which had sat vacant for decades. And after that house was built, I got neighbors constantly coming over saying, thank you for finally building that and finishing our community and, increasing our land value, because that empty lot was an eyesore for them for years on Old Tuckapee Drive. So I'm confident that same thing will happen here when these are developed, is that the whole community will say, thank you, councilor, developers, whoever is involved in this, that we finally get this thing cleaned up. That creamery was knocked down like 25 years ago. Don knows the numbers better than I do. But it's been an eyesore at the heart of our town ever since, and it's long overdue to be changed. My second point is really, at the risk of sounding kind of like Captain Obvious here, is that this amendment is entirely consistent with the More Homes Built Faster Act, which we all hear about ad nauseum in the news every day. And I listen to all the politicians at all levels, and I hear the provincial people blaming the municipal people as the roadblocks to getting things done. And this represents a really genuine opportunity to dispel that myth, to say that when we are presented with a very viable plan, we will take action and we will do the right thing. And I use terms like reasonable and viable very deliberately, because as has been alluded to already, there's precedents that have been set. Smaller lots than these ones proposed on Benjamin are already being developed with the exact same treatment system, call it tertiary, advanced, whatever you call it. They're already being done as we sit here today. So this is not anything that's out of the norm. There's properties on literally on the same side, the other side of the street on Benjamin, that have been developed, zoned residential for longer than anybody in this room has been alive. So simply doing the other thing to the other side of the street seems quite reasonable to me. And to be perfectly clear, changing the zoning to industrial to residential, which kind of happens as a byproduct of this, but otherwise allowing these lots to be developed, absolutely sees the spirit and intent of the regional plan, regional official plan, I believe it's called, remaining intact and adhered to. The people who wrote that plan and policy never intended to prevent the development on properties like this one. When you look at it kind of from a common sense, good sense perspective, has kind of been outlined here. And third and finally, as you follow through with your whatever steps happen next in the amendment process, I'd ask all the planners and councillors to put yourself in the community's shoes and say, if this eyesore were in your neighborhood, would you be in front of the council appealing for this? Would you want it approved? And I'm confident that the answer would be yes. So, I'll say bottom line, those are my 3 points. I'm just going to close off by saying, I'm not a planner, but I'm pretty sure this is the right thing to do. My 9-to-5 job is a consultant and arguably expert in strategic multi-stakeholder decision-making. That's what I'm going to go back to my office and do when I leave here today. And from that lens, I'm incredibly confident that everybody gets a win by developing these lots. It's really a minor, trivial, and what seems to be an administrative-only change that needs to be happened here. It does not set any dangerous precedent, and it does not trample on the merits or the spirit of the official plan. It simply improves our region in many regards. So once again, thanks for taking the time today. Hope I didn't go over my time. I don't see a timer.
You're just over time, but that's okay.
Okay, I apologize for that.
That's okay. Thank you, Dave. I see Councillor Sullivan.
I just also wanted to extend thank you for coming out today and for speaking to the great points that you did. Like I said, looking forward to my colleagues supporting this in the future.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Because this is a public meeting, I will be asking, is there anyone else in attendance or who would like to speak? If so, you would have 3 minutes, but please come to the podium. Okay. Staff are available for questions, just if there's anyone else. I don't think there's anyone in the queue. No, pretty straightforward. Okay, all right. This report was received for information, and we'll come back. Is there any other business? Oh, was there? Okay, I'm sorry. Chair Redmond.
Thank you, Chair James. I think we have violent agreement that this seems like a logical thing to do, but the last delegation did pique, I guess, provoke a question in me, and I would put this, I think, to Jennifer Rose. We've had other projects where we weren't as quick to all be in agreement because there are implications for tertiary sanitary systems when they fail. And I would just like to have you outline that, because there have been previous projects that, while they had merit, were not received with the kind of support that they're getting from staff at this juncture. And I would just want to be really clear that this isn't just perfunctory. This actually was a very valuable report, and there's a reason why that step had to be in place. And I'm just wondering if you'd comment.
Yes, certainly through Chair James to Chair Redmond. So since the region is a groundwater-based drinking water system, for the most part, we do get water from the Grand River as well. We have a duty and obligation under the Clean Water Act to ensure that our groundwater is protected. And many of the reasons that we have for not allowing certain things to happen, like septic systems, for instance, is because there could be a danger of those septic systems failing and that sewage making its way or other bacteria making its way into the groundwater system. A tertiary system, though, it does add that third level of treatment to a septic system. And there is an annual maintenance plan that must be submitted to the municipality with respect to those systems to ensure that they're kept in good working order. In this particular case, the groundwater system, we call it a wellhead protection area, the development is not within the wellhead protection area. Also, the drinking water comes from aquifers deeper into the ground than would be impacted if there was any failure to this particular septic system on this particular spot. So as these development applications come in, we look at them on a case-by-case basis just to make sure that we fulfill our duty under the Clean Water Act.
If I can, I just really thank you for that, because I think so often on the face of things, you think this is logical, this seems like a good thing to do, but you do have to make sure we do not want a repeat of Walkerton. And since post-Walkerton, I think everybody around this horseshoe recognizes that we are culpable for the quality and protection of our groundwater. So this is a very important step. I'm really pleased that we're all saying that this is one that should go ahead, but just to caution colleagues that there may come another project that on the face of it looks like it has a lot of merit, but would have other red flags.
Okay, seeing no further questions, we will now start a vote to adjourn this statutory public meeting. Do I have a mover? Councillor Hunick, seconder. Councillor Craig. You'll be prompted in e-scribe. Right. Okay. That's carried. And we will take a quick 2-minute break. And please make sure to switch over to the regular planning and works meeting on eScribe. Thank you.